Resident Evil 2. This is the PlayStation 5 version, and this was my very first Resident Evil game I've ever played, and it was amazing. So the whole series is super popular. It's a very popular series created by Capcom, and this game, after beating it, it has me absolutely hooked into the whole series. So at the start of Resident Evil, I just played through Leon's story, and all this footage is going to be from playing through Leon's story, as I'm currently playing through Claire's, and I just really wanted to create a video on this game because it was so amazing. So starting out with Leon's story, you start at the gas station, and basically you walk in and you find out that there's something that's not quite right, and Leon's a rookie cop just about to start at the police force in Raccoon City. So then, what do? You head into the only place you think is safe, which is the Raccoon City Police Department. And that's where basically the whole start of the game goes. That's your first areas. You're in the police station. And so this footage right here is from the police station. And except for when you're in the main, central area of the police station, everywhere else, it's super dark, super ominous, and it really does a good job of creating fear and intensity in you as playing the game. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is the first survival horror type game I've ever played, and it definitely has me hooked into the genre. It was so intense and created so much fear when I was playing through the game. It was literally, when I first started playing the game, I was like, oh man, I need to take some breaks here. It's just getting so intense beyond belief. So basically, I'd play for an hour or so, and then I need to take a break because then I'd just start to be honestly, just scared. It did such a good job of creating fear in the player, and now I'm hooked into these games. I've been playing through Claire's story on Resident Evil 2, as well as I started playing Resident Evil 4 Remake as well, and that game is fantastic. It is amazing, and I can't wait to do a video on that game as well. I'm just hooked into the series now. I got the Resident Evil bug, if you would call it that. But yeah, this game has did such a great job of creating fear, and I really had to learn, coming from playing mostly. The only really shooting type games I ever played growing up were Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War. I really had to change my playstyle with this game because it is survival horror. Your ammo is limited. So there was a lot of times as I got further into the game, I had to be very conservative of my ammo, and I had to pick enemies carefully. I couldn't just take on every single enemy I saw. I had to run away from them sometimes or try and evade them. So that, coming from a Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War background in shooting games, or games where you have guns and you should do some shooting, even though I wouldn't call this a straight shooting game, right? But it's still, you gotta really be conservative with your ammo, and just that was a huge learning curve for me, just coming from not really playing any survival horror games at all. So it was a huge learning curve for me, but once I got into understanding how conservative I needed to be, then by the end of the game I was getting so much better. At the start of the game I was not very good, but I got better as I played throughout the game. I also wanted to include some cutscenes into this video as well, just because they are so gorgeous. The cutscenes look incredible, and this game as a whole just looks incredible. They did such a good job with the graphics and everything, and the story in this game was really good too. Everything about it was amazing, and it's one of my favorite games I've played recently. Definitely one of the best games I've played on my new PlayStation 5, and yeah, it's just the cutscenes are so amazing, and they did such a good job with this game. I mean, the enemies are horrifying. You got Mr. X right here. This is your first encounter with him, kind of a thing, and he is so intense. When you're just randomly exploring the police station and you hear the music and his just foot stomps right behind you or approaching you, then oh boy, Mr. X is coming, I better run. And he just creates so much fear too, because as I was exploring the police station after this first encounter, I was scared to run into him again. Now, once you're able to leave the police station, then you go exploring through the city with Ada, and then only to end up in the sewer where there's even more crazy enemies, and you got this sewer monster here, and some of the other enemies in the sewer are just a lot more intense and crazy. And yeah, the sewer was pretty scary, honestly. Whenever I was exploring the sewer, there would just be random enemies that would pop out of the water, and it was the sewer was definitely created even more fear in me as the player than the police station did, and I was already pretty scared to begin with just exploring the police station. Now, the thing I learned with these games is there's a lot of really neat puzzles and cool puzzles that you have to solve throughout, especially the police station. There was a lot of puzzles to solve to try and get all basically stocked up on ammo and guns and everything, and I really enjoyed it. The exploration and the puzzle solving, that's something I really enjoyed with this game, and I've been really enjoying again with Resident Evil 4 because it's still got a lot of the puzzles and problem solving as well and exploration in it, and it's just it really makes these games a lot of fun to go around and explore and try and stock up and get all the items you can so you can be as strong as you can against any enemy. Now, there was a few areas I had missed exploring in the police station, which after I'd left the police station I thought, oh man, just because I wasn't really sure. I mean, it was my first time playing the game, so I wasn't really sure which event I would trigger that would end up getting me out of the police station or leaving the police station, as I watched no videos, nothing about the progression of this game because I love playing through games blind. So I definitely missed a few things, but next time I play through this game again, then I will go back and get some of those extra items and explore some of those extra areas I'd missed my first time playing through this game. Now, once you get out of the sewer, then you end up exploring the Nest Lab, which is your next area, trying to find the virus so you can finally get a handle on this whole situation of all these zombies and monsters and everything, get a handle on the whole infection. So once you explore the Nest Lab, then there's definitely a lot more enemies, a few more boss fights. You got this boss fight against this William guy, William monster, if you will, and yeah, so it's the whole Nest Lab was a really cool area to explore. And again, I mean, everything was dark and ominous and created a lot of fear in me as the player, just exploring everywhere. But by the time I had made it to the Nest Lab, then I was pretty used to, expecting where to encounter certain enemies and expecting certain jump scares and different things. So it definitely got easier, and I wasn't as fearful as I was at the start of the game.
Tell me everything.
Now, as a lot of you would know that have been around on the channel for a little while, you'll know that I'll always talk about the soundtracks with games, and I'm a big sucker for having a game with some good music and a really good soundtrack that really puts you in the mood that they're trying to portray with their gameplay. And this game, I mean, the soundtrack and the music and the sounds and everything are just phenomenal. Like the final, I don't know if you'd call it final boss fight or final stretch of the game when you're taking on Mr. X. I'll show the gameplay in a little bit here. That music in the background is just so good that they were playing, and then all the sounds just really do a good job of putting that fear into the player, and everything about this game, from the whole style of everything and the look, the darkness, the sounds, it just does everything so well. They also did a great job with the characters too. Leon is honestly such a good character. Like, I'm a Resident Evil newbie, don't get me wrong. So I've only really gotten to experience Claire and then Leon as the two characters because I've just been playing Resident Evil 2 through Claire's story, and then been playing through Resident Evil 4, which is Leon again. And but I really like Leon. I think the character is so good. Seeing how he's developed and changed from Resident Evil 2, where you're a rookie cop, to Resident Evil 4, where he's like a seasoned survival veteran, if you will, and it's just really, really cool to see the character development with Leon from Resident Evil 2 to Resident Evil 4. So I can't wait to play through some of the other games as well in the series and see how the characters are, how they've developed. I realize that a lot of the games tend to change up the characters. I think Resident Evil 5 is 2 different characters completely, and then Resident Evil 1 has some different characters than Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 as well. So I'm excited to play through the whole series and see which characters I really, really like and see how the character development is for a lot of the other characters as well. Now, speaking of the characters, I love the one-liners that Leon says. Like, it's just so funny after you take down an enemy, then he's like, suck on that. Like, I just love that. Some people might find it a little corny. I mean, it is, right? It's kind of like your stereotypical corny one-liners and movies and stuff that you would see when someone takes down someone else. And it's just, I love it though. I think it's awesome, and I love all the one-liners that Leon does. It's super funny, a little bit of comic relief in this very, very intense game. So I really, really like all that. The one-liners and everything that Leon says is just, it's funny. And seeing his reactions there too, when he sees an enemy coming, he goes, holy shit. It's just awesome. Now here we are to some of the footage that I got from the final boss fight against Mr. X. And just listen to the music. The music playing through this whole final battle is just incredible. It really does a good job of setting the mood and making it feel like it's such an intense final boss fight and the ending of the game. And Mr. X is no joke. I mean, I died a few times taking on him here. It was tough, especially when he just lunges at you and jumps at you from across this whole stage and this elevator that you're on. It's just, it's pretty crazy. So it's not an easy boss fight, but I mean, it is also technically the final battle in the game. And after you finally take him down, then you catch a subway and you're off on your way. But no, it was an incredible boss fight nonetheless, just quite difficult. Now, after I'd beaten this game, I realized that I completely missed grabbing one of the better guns in this game. I kept picking up this mag ammo thinking, well, what in the world is that for? Not realizing they could pick up a really, really powerful pistol that would use that ammo. And I completely missed it. I'm sure it was in one of the areas I missed in the police station when I ended up leaving the police station too early when I triggered that event to leave it. So unfortunately I missed out on, I think, what was a pretty good gun. If you guys know what that gun is or where it is, you'll have to let me know for the next time I play through this game. Then I won't miss it this next time I ended up playing through this game. But yeah, no, nonetheless, Resident Evil 2, absolutely incredible game. Everything from the exploration and the survival feeling, the horror, the fear that it invokes on you as the player. It's just an incredible game, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. I am absolutely hooked on the series now. I'm playing through both Claire's story on Resident Evil 2 right now, as well as Resident Evil 4, and I'm just so hooked on this series. It is absolutely amazing. So anyways, like all these videos, I'm going to let the last little ending of the game play out here. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Can't believe I actually miss her.
Leon?
Hey. We made it.
Just like I said we would.